Hi everybody, welcome to another Train Direct video. This is the next part of the Mordheim series, and what we're going to be going over today is we're going to be going over, well, we're basically going to start building the building. So to start with, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to go back a step and actually go back to the planning phase. The reason why this is because we're going to build a simple building, just a nice simple small building. So what we're going to need is just like before, as I've shown you in one of the last videos, is we're going to need a paper, and I'll pull this over and we'll stick this down here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to draw a corner building, just to get a rough idea on what we're going to actually be doing. Let's zoom in a little bit so we can show you a little bit better. So yeah, what we want to achieve is a corner damage building. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a small corner building with a multi-step just up here, just like that. Actually, it might be better if we actually just do it even simpler than that, and we'll just take it straight down. We'll just take it straight, so ignore this. So we'll just take it straight. We'll take an apex to the building like that, and it will just be small across here, down. So there we have it. But what we want to do is we want to make this to a point. So here, so what we're going to do is we're going to angle this up to here, this down to here, this down to here, and that down. If you imagine this inside the building, this is actually going to come down like that. So we've actually got like a pyramid on top. The reason why we're going to do it this way is because I think this is going to give us the best sort of look for our roof. Because when it's all damaged and smashed inside, we can cut away all this. If this was the back exposed corner, we can create some really quite good effects. So if we imagine all this not here, and then inside here we'll have a floor inside connecting to the back section of the building. So that'll be like our midpoint around this sort of way here. So now we've got sort of like a general rough idea on what we're going to do, and the reason why I've drawn it, just so you've got like the overall idea why I'm going through it and what I'm trying to actually achieve. So without further ado, I'm going to pull out our first material. We've already covered materials. So what we've got is we've got our foam board, so our foam core board. I now know what the problem is with my camera. The white on this, it's got like a glossy finish, so what it's doing is it's actually focusing on my actual shadows. So just bear with me if the camera goes out of focus, because I'm not going to be checking the viewfinder, because I'm going to be concentrating on here. So basically, if it goes out of focus, just bear with it. It will refocus itself. So first of all, what we need to do is we need to go over size again. So we'll get our miniature. We're going to call him Bob from now on. So Bob is he's basically our jig for actually creating all of our models. This is actually a proper Mordheim figure. So, and we already know he's 36mm from base to head. So from head there to base is actually 36mm. So we know each floor level has got to be a minimum of like 40mm. So right, I'm going to do a little jump cut and we're going to come back to the building. Right, so now I've got all my tools ready, and what we're going to do is we're going to go and draw our scales. Remember from the previous video in the planning, if you haven't seen it, go back, go and have a look at it, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working in inches on this. Obviously this is a metric ruler, so we're going to be needing our metal other ruler with our inches onside it. So we know one floor is going to be 2 inches. So each floor is going to be 2 inches. That gives us enough headroom for each miniature. So basically what we want to do is we want to go to 4 inches, and then that will give us enough space for both, but not forgetting the middle gap to the actual floor. So we're going to actually go to 4.5 inches per floor. That'll actually give us pretty much what we need for the space of the actual floor as well, because you've got to take that into consideration while building these buildings. So now setting it out, we're going to use the straight edge on the actual foam core here. So we'll do another little zoom in. This is where the camera might get a bit funny, so I can try and zoom in as best as I can. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to 4.5 inches, and we're going to make a mark at 4.5 inches. So because we want all these to be square, so 4.5 inches, 4.5 inches. Right, we know the width of our building, and what we need to do is work out the width of our building. I'm going to just use a round figure 5. The reason is because a lot of my corners and my houses are all going to be 5, so I'm going to be using that as a standard measurement throughout this. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure 5, and we're going to measure 5 again, and we're just going to draw lightly on here our square, and that will be our elevation to our house. We're not going to worry about the roof because we're going to be creating that out of card, and I'll show you how to do that as we get to the roof section itself. So what we actually need is 4 of these pieces. I'm not sure on how well you can actually see my lines because of the light. So what I'll do is I'll go back to my other ruler now, and I'll make these lines more prominent. The reason why I've got this other ruler is this is actually thicker than my other one. So if you can actually see here, there's a really thick edge and there's a thin edge. This is really good when you start actually cutting with your actual modelling knife. The reason is my blades actually flex slightly, so the bigger area I've got to work on here, there's less flex in the blade, so there's less of a chance of me cutting into an angle. So basically now we know, so now we've got, and we're going to mark this up here before we go anywhere. This is the top, bottom. Right, so we know that that one from there to there is 4 inches. Sorry, 4.5 inches. So 4.5 inches, 4.5 inches. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw the other ones, and then we'll come back. Right, sorry if you hear like strange whirring in the background. It's just got absolutely unbearably hot up here in my man cave. So I've pretty much got every fan running that I own at the moment. So where have we got? We've got our 4 sides all done, and like I said before, we need to make sure that we label them: top, bottom, bottom, top, bottom, top. And this one's the one right up in the top, just up here. That's an off cut. So right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go and cut these out. So I'll just be a second and we'll get ready for cutting out.